All right, guys, happy Sunday. This is so excited for this topic. Highly requested. We are going into self-improvement Sunday and self-improvement Sunday, self-improvement Sunday, self-improvement September. So what we're going to talk about today is if you've been finding that you're back in that back to school energy, right? I don't care how old you are, but it is the back to school vibe. We want to get out of self-sabotage and into success. And there are 4 key principles that I want to share with you today to really support you in improving your September. Guys, we have 4 months before the new year, and that's not said, it's said with a lot of excitement, because not only that, we're also on an eclipse, but this is a time of epic energy and a time to really clear up what hasn't been working. And as the queen of reinvention and really sharing my belief and knowing around the power in shifting your identity, that's what we want to bring to this. So when we're looking at September today, I want to go through a 4-step framework to support you in improving what you do this month. And there's a few key principles that I see that really get in the way. Often when we're looking at goals, we go so far out and we talk about what we want from a year from now, 5 years from now, but it's those actual next steps that make such a difference. And again, what I see in self-development and self-improvement a lot around doing rituals, journaling. I love all of these things. And these are things that I myself do, but we want to also pair them with actions that we're taking. And one of the things that is extremely beneficial to do is have your goals, but review your goals daily. This is something that is so simple and it's really overlooked. And a lot of people don't do it. They have their goals in their head. And so what I want to give are just some key principles on what to do to really see a lot of change in the next 30 days, because you can. And I know it's already September 7th, but no matter what, change happens fast when you actually just commit and go all in. So right now, write down your top 10 goals. And if you're like, I don't have 10, that's great. Narrow it down. 10 would be the most. But the key with the goals is make them really specific. And I'm sure you've heard about SMART goals, but it's so true. And I see this a lot with women. They will, women in our community will say, Melissa, I just want to be healthy. I just want to be happy. I just want to feel alive. I just want to feel this. And I'm like, that's great, but put parameters, descriptions, get as detailed as possible. You want love. What do you want that love to look like? What do you want it to feel like? When would you like to meet this person? How do you want to share your life together? Who are they? Who are you in that relationship? When and I'll say, I just want to make more money. Well, how much money? And what would you want that to be? And then let's go even further to not only quantifying the amount of money, but it really looking at what barriers do you have to it. So even just looking at money with, I primarily work with women and they will say, well, I just want enough. I want enough to be happy. And I'm like, well, why is it just enough? Why aren't you asking for what you really want? Is having too much money a problem? And really looking at the part in you that's settling for less and going into a story of, I just want to be happy. Get very clear on what happiness is to you, what you want. And for those of you that have a tendency to dream a lot bigger, which I love, look at that though and bring it down, not to not have the big dreams, but bring it down to, okay, do I believe that this is possible? So on the flip side, will I also see that there's a lack of clarity when we look at goals and a lot of ambiguity around it, but a lot of settling, especially for my recovering Catholics. Hello. I shouldn't ask for too much. That's a worth conversation. So in self-improvement September, we want to really drop into in order to achieve what you want and to get out of self-sabotage and into success, we have to embody the version of us that has what we want. Well, the version of you that's really empowered, that has what you want, isn't sitting there going, well, I mean, I just want to have enough and it's okay. Who am I to ask for more? I'm so blessed. That's somebody we've got to really look at. It's not to say not to be happy and not to be in gratitude, but really ask yourself, why wouldn't I want more? Wouldn't I want to give back in a bigger way? Wouldn't I want to take my family on a trip, an all expense paid? Wouldn't I want to buy a house for my parents or my grandparents? Like, wouldn't I want to tithe in certain ways? So we want to look at your worth. And then for those of you that I'm asking in the beginning, I said, write down your goals, the power of actually knowing your goals and reviewing your goals every day. See, what we place focus on is where our energy goes and grows. And where you put your attention in your mind is a computer. You are programming it. It will default to past settings of limitation unless you redirect it with the program of where you want it to go. So we must program it with, I want you to focus on my goals. These are the goals that I want. And in order for it to achieve those goals, it needs to believe that they're possible. So if you're sitting there in debt or broke, or sitting there with stories of limitation around what you can't do, or you're struggling with your weight, or you're struggling in love, or your marriages, whatever it is, that current reality and version of you is going to dictate what you can and can't have, and will create based off your limitations. And this is why I'm such an advocate in supporting and on a mission to help you to shift your identity, to understand that identity is the key to propel you to where you want to be. Coming from the end, not of the end. There's a big difference. One is from coming from the end is I'm already that. So now that version of me who has what I want, I'm not coming from any lack. So I'm going to make decisions from an embodied state of I already have what I want. And therefore, every decision I make is from the having of it, versus what so many do is I want it. I'm going to manifest. I'm going to meditate on it every day. I'm going to try to get into the feeling. I want it. I need it. I'm going to write about it. But their energy, it's not that what they're doing isn't effective. It's not actually going to get them what they want, because they're doing it from the energy of, I don't have this. They're doing it from, it's not here yet. You're doing it from the, I'm trying to make it happen. So you're still coming from the old identity. You're still coming from the limited version of you that doesn't have it, that's hoping that somebody will, that you'll get the social media following, that you'll meet the person, that the money will come. You're hoping the clients will come. You're hoping. And if you do all of these things, this checklist of to-dos and the self-development, if I'm doing all of them, but it doesn't matter. It's not about what you're doing. All of it can be effective if it's coming from the energy of, I already have it. But see, when you wake up in the morning, you turn the lights on, you expect the lights to come on. You're not praying for the lights to come on. Well, I mean, maybe some people in certain experiences, but I'm thinking you here generally have lights. You wake up in the morning expecting to breathe, that there will be a sun shining, or there's a roof over your head. You know those things to be true. You turn the lights on. You're not on a wish and a prayer. You're not journaling going, I hope that the lights come on tomorrow morning. You're like, I know that I'm going to wake up and I'm going to turn the lights on. I'm going to put the faucet on. We're very blessed. So now think about the things that you're wanting. What energy are you coming from? Are you coming from it's already mine? Are you coming from it's done? See, when you flip a light switch, you're like, I've got lights. I pay for my electricity. The lights go on. That's the way it works, right? But when you're coming from, I need to, did the scale move? Did somebody buy what I have to offer? Did this happen? Is there money in my account? That's all coming from scarcity and lack, which means it doesn't matter how many times you sit in meditation and you journal and you do all the things. If your dominant energy and vibration is, I'm not there yet, it's not mine, then by law of attraction, you're assuming it's not mine, law of assumption, Neville Goddard, then what you want is going to magnetize to your dominant vibration, which means you are going to get the lack. You're going to get the I'm not enough. You're going to get reflections in your outer reality of your belief systems internally. And this is why I will shout from the rooftops. It's not about manifestation. Identity trumps all of it because it's coming from your self-concept. Who you believe yourself to be dictates what you have and what you receive. It is direct correlation to what occurs in your 3D reality. So in order for Self-Improvement Sunday, I keep saying Self-Improvement Sunday, maybe I'm going to start doing every Sunday self-improvement. In order for you to really kick ass in September and self-improvement September, right? I was like, let's go. We want to get out of self-sabotage and into success. And we need to do that by first getting clear on the goals that you want to have. And then we need to make them real. So I started off by talking about those of you that have a lot of ambiguous goals. There's no real clarity around them. I want to be healthy. I want to look better. I want to feel better. What does any of that mean? I want to be happy. Get clear. The universe loves to give you what you want, but if it's not clear, you're going to get a mixed bag, right? Right? Are you guys with me on this? So you're going to get a mixed bag. So instead, we need to get clear. We need to write down the exact amount of money, exactly the size, the weight we want to release, the love that we want to call in, the money. If you want all of it, get clear. And then ask yourself, who do I need to be to have that? And then look at what are the gaps between that version and who I'm being right now. And I use the analogy, there's so many great gym analogies, which is where I'm going after this, but let's just use the gym. If you're starting off with a workout routine every day, you wake up and have to remind yourself to go to the gym in order to work out, right? To then have the goal of what you're wanting. You don't just do it once and expect it to work, right? No, you go each day and you have to remind yourself, I have to put my clothes out. I need to put them on. I need to grab my water. I need to get my gym bag. I need to go to the car. There's steps because that version of you is going, but it's a daily reminder or else it's not going to become a habit, right? So we need to do the same thing with our mind. See, your mind doesn't know the difference between a dream or reality. And so whatever you impress upon the mind, especially in a frequent state, then becomes a part of you. And then those habits then become inherent parts in your identity, right? I'm somebody, I go to the gym. It doesn't matter if I miss a week. It doesn't matter if I get sick. It doesn't matter if I get injured. I will be fit. I created a fit identity a long time ago. It was something that I did. It's now a part of me. I don't really need to remind myself. I get up and it's just a part of what I do. It's not going to happen. It's a part of who I am. But I had to create her. That was not innate in me. I had to make myself a morning person. I had a story that I was a night person. Every aspect of ourselves, when I wanted to go to New York City and I wanted to get into fashion, I had to shift into that identity. When I wanted to start this online, I had to shift into that identity. When I wanted to tell myself I now want to go back to school and become a nutritionist, I'm going to shift into that identity. When I want to do a podcast, we're now doing a podcast, write a book, we're going to do that. TED Talk, we're going to do that. All of these took identities. It took me saying that's something that I want. Who do I need to be? And then I had to do the action steps. We don't just sit, a wish and prayer, right? So many will do manifestation and they will sit and they will meditate and they will feel it real and they will have tears and they will go, oh my God, I felt it. I saw myself on stage. I saw myself receiving this award. I saw myself with millions. Great. But then you have to do things that align with that vibration. And then you have to bring that vibration to life as often as possible. Bring it into that feeling state and then come from the end, not of the end, right? So in September, 4 months left to this year, first step, we want to get clear on our goals and we want to get as detailed as possible. Now, for those of you that have the big dreams, I love it. I love me some big dreams. And here's what I'm going to tell you. The mind cannot create what it can't actually conceive and perceive to be real. So we want to get the big dreams. But if you have your big dreams and you put them on a vision board and you look at the vision board and you feel nothing, or you have a nuanced narrative that actually says that's never going to happen, that you don't even hear because it's caught on 80,000 thoughts a day, 60,000 of them are repeat that are negative, infiltrating, right? That's what's going on that we don't even realize when we're driving the car going and we're in the grocery store and we're just kind of like, what was that? What was I even listening to? I've got a podcast on. You've got all those tapes. They don't stop. Well, in order to create a new belief gets created in 17 seconds. So we need to intercept the old one and rewrite it with a new one. But in order to rewrite it, we need to know what's going on. Well, in order to know what's going on, just look at your outer reality, because all of those beliefs are what's actually creating the actions that you take each day. They're the ones that say, why would I even bother? I'm not going to do that audition. I'm not going to submit that. I'm not even going to start the YouTube channel. I'm not going to do this. Who am I? Like, it's not going to work anyway, or why stay consistent, or it's okay if I miss the gym today. That voice is coming from a limited version of you that got created as one of the multi-identities that we have within us. Right? I always say we're like Sybil. We have like 99,000 personalities. We all do. And just like you have an identity that limits you, you can create one that empowers you. And we have both often. And that's why we can feel like it's an internal tug of war. Your job is to side with the version of you that's delusional in the good direction. Because here's the thing. Either way, you're being delusional. And when people are like, Delulu, oh my God, that's so woo-woo. No, it's actually very true. It takes the exact same amount of energy to buy into fear or into faith. You're either buying into a delusional story that you're a failure, or that it's never going to work, or that you're not as successful, or that it can't happen for you, or stories like it's going to take a long time. We have no idea how often we limit our stages of success by buying into parameters that have been set by other humans. Like, well, most likely it's going to take a year for me to have this. We want to get out of what's realistic and drop into the delusional reality of that which you want. Because here's the thing, and people will say to me, but Melissa, that sounds like ridiculous. Okay, well, you've lived most of your life buying into a delusional reality that things can't happen for you, that life is hard, that you're meant to struggle, that you can only progress about 10% each year, that you can only make, that it would only be realistic, that money would be funneled through your job, that you could only really get a raise as much. So either way, you're buying into a delusional story based on your fear of what ifs that work against you, or you can buy into the delusional story of what you would want to be true. Either one's is creating for you right now. So why wouldn't you want to make it as fabulous as humanly possible? Right? I mean, seriously, guys. And if you want affirmations that I do, that I created, where you can actually stand in front of the mirror, I specialize in reprogramming the subconscious mind. I've been doing this for over 20 years. And these actually really work. And they're categorized by everything from money affirmations to health and weight to relationships and marriage. All of these, if you want them, just comment or DM me directly and we can send those over to you. But here, so going back into this, what I really want to tell you. So if you have the big dreams, and if you're like, yes, Melissa, that's me. I have a lot of big dreams and I have the vision board, but that my life isn't really changing. Well, it's because you actually don't believe that they're possible. So yes, there's a part of you that really, really wants that. And you can feel it real, and you can have these epic visualizations and meditations, but there's too big of a gap. So what we want to do between you having that and where you are, that the mind can't conceive of it. What the mind can't conceive, it can't perceive, which it can't create. So what we want to do instead is say, okay, that's here. What that version of me that would have that, what's the next, what's the version of me that has that what would I need to do in the next year to get me closer? So instead of I'm in debt, I'm a multimillionaire, right? It's like, okay, well, wouldn't it feel really great if you started to make $10,000 a month? Or, if you're making 5,000, if we got you up to 7,500, we want to start bringing the bigger dreams down, keep them on the vision board, but then also put steps of things that on your vision board visually that you're seeing. And also for yourself, we need to create those wins so that you start to believe it's possible. So we want to bring it down instead of, and it's not to not go for the big things. Absolutely. Absolutely. But also give yourself, what are the incremental things that I need to do now that are going to bring me where I want to be? What are the things I can do now that can prove to me and show me? Can I start pitching myself to podcasts? What if I started pitching myself to this podcast on my vision board? I see myself, I'm making something else on Jay Shetty's podcast, right? I'm just using different benchmarks, but whatever it is for you, start bringing it down. And that way your mind's going to see, oh, this is possible. And then it opens up, see where we focus the mind, that it opens up to a world of potentiality and possibility versus limitation and negativity, right? Because there's only two human emotions ever, love and fear. And fear is when you're in disconnection. And you know that because you're in stress, overwhelm, anxiety. You're living into your future tripping with what ifs. You're living into this could happen and that could happen, and a spiral of negativity. Well, that's when we're in separation. Because when we're actually in connection, spiritual, divine alignment, and anything is possible, we're in anything is possible, the world of potentiality. If any and all things are possible, what would I love? Everything is always working out for me. No matter what's occurring in my life, this is all for my highest good. This is all happening. This is meant for me. I'm seeing the good in this. We're operating from love. And guys, just pro tip in life, just if you've never heard if you never subscribe to any other advice ever, this will serve you till the end of time. Always ask yourself in any situation, pause and say, what would love do? And do that. And I promise you will live a very happy, successful, abundant life. Love is always the answer. It trumps the ego. It removes it completely. And so love and fear. So we always want to know, and I tell my clients often, you know that you're in disconnection when what you're saying to yourself doesn't feel good, right? Because divine source energy will never see your limitations. It only sees potentiality and possibility, and it only sees love for you unconditionally. So when we are hearing something that's limiting us or actually just makes us feel bad about ourselves, especially when we're talking to ourselves, that's you in separation. So when we know that, the key then is to come back into connection. That's when you just go, I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to get myself, I'm going to go move my body. I'm going to shift this energy. I'm going to go do something kind. I'm going to go to the mirror and say something loving to myself. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go into prayer. I'm going to go into meditation. I'm going to do something else that's going to support me. And that right there, again, will be a game changer. So when we're looking at self-improvement for September, guys, we need to get those goals, and we need to get your mindset and your identity. And this is what I teach. It's identity shifting. I did forever and a day, would sit there and I would manifest infrequently. And I had a lot of success with a lot of efforting. And yes, you can do it that way. And you can make a lot of money, but you are not having nearly as much fun. And it's hard. Or you can do it in divine connection and from a space of knowing, literally coming from the end of I'm a badass, I'm amazing, I'm this, and I'm going to own it because this is your life and you're the star, you're the creator, you're the producer. No one's watching. It's you with you. Show up, be bold, live a big, beautiful life, and recognize. And this was something that I came to with myself as somebody that had struggled with my self-esteem and believing in myself, which is why I went into specializing in reprogramming the subconscious mind and helping women to really shift their identity powerfully in midlife to achieve beyond their dreams, right? And to understand, guys, we have to challenge every belief we have, every rule that we've lived by, and say, what do I want my truth to be? This is my life. How do I want to live it? And is that belief serving me or hurting me? Is that identity serving me or hurting me? Guys, we can let go of identities right here, right now. If there is a dynamic in your family, if there is a belief system about you, if there's something where you go, oh, that's just always me. I'm always flighty. I'm always late. Oh, everybody's overweight in my family. These are stories. And we all have the power to change those stories and make those stories really mindful and beautiful and delicious and to serve us immensely. And that is my invitation to you. And to get from self-sabotage to success, change your stories, those inner conversations, assume the best. And there was something that happened to me where I remember I sat there and I was like, in life, people will always tell you why you can't, and they will be so quick to judge. And there are so many that are so quick to love too. But especially when you've got big dreams and you're going to big places and you know that, and there can be that part within you, i.e. the ego, and the ego is nothing more than an artifact of past consciousness. It's nothing more than beliefs and identities that you've created. So we want to stop hating on the ego, being like, my ego, the ego's and understand that it's nothing more than thoughts and beliefs that you bought into about yourself. And those beliefs got impressed upon your mind so much that they created identities that you bought into. And whether people told you and whether you were criticized from parents or teachers, we all have big T trauma, little T trauma, all the things. But now knowing this, now that you're here, you're hearing this for a reason. And now that you know this, you get to say, I don't want that identity anymore. That was never actually me. I was never awkward, or I was never lazy, or I was never, just smart. I was also a great athlete. Or I'm beautiful, or I was never big boned. And then I'm very great. You get to do it. And then instead of outsourcing other people to confirm it or tell you, or looking for signs or psychics to be like, am I meant to be? Take your power and say, yes, I am, because I'm the God of my reality. Commune with source energy and then claim it and hold it and say, I'm choosing this. I'm making this happen because I believe in me. And when that shifted for me, I sat there and I said, why am I giving my power away? And I never want to be the person that says no to me. There are going to be enough people in this world that are going to want to stop me and block me, put me down and judge me. That sure as hell is not going to come from me. And from that point forward, I chose that voice in my head, I would just sit there and go, that is not my truth. That is nothing more than it's just on a loop. It's a tape. And unfortunately, I bought into it and it curated experiences in my life. And I now have the power and knowledge to know that I'm going to create a new tape that's going to write to you guys. Am I the only person that's old enough to remember tapes? When somebody made you a mixtape. Oh my God, feels so old. Oh my God. Yes. Mixtapes. Well, we get to when they just they break and the tape, all this stuff came out and you were like, oh, my tape. And we try to wind it back. It's no, let it break, rip it out. Let's write a new one. And so if you enjoyed this, I will be back every Sunday. We will do more self-improvement tips to take you from self-sabotage to your success, sharing with you everything that I can on the mindset, the identity shift, and how to do this in everything that you do. I always say your health is your wealth. It all starts with you. You must value who you are. And that starts with what you put into your body, everything that you ingest, the words that you speak, the things that you say, and what you watch. So curate your feed with intention. Notice what you're watching, notice what you're buying into, and notice the stories that are on background. And if you want my help in shifting your identity, we have our next identity shift workshop coming up. I would love to have you. It's 3 hours, shift your identity. We give you workbooks. This is where you get to actually sit and get as detailed as humanly possible on every aspect of yourself. So you have your own playbook. And then I take you through not only an activation, but we go through the exact 4-step framework to shift your identity so you can truly reinvent the version of you that you're being. And watch out, because when you do that, your success is inevitable, because you magnetize everything you want to you. So, and those of you that want coaching or to join our Reinvention program, we have doors are open. And let me know, comment Reinvention or identity. We can send those to you. And we also have a gift for you of affirmations to support you and the powerful transformation that happens when you do them in front of the mirror. It's really important in the way that we have it designed. It really supports in reprogramming the subconscious mind. So if you want those comment affirmations, we'll get those to you as well. All my love, guys. I hope to see you in our identity shift workshop inside Limitless Academy, our membership, or working in Reinvention closely knit with me. So I love you, and I'm off to my workout. If you didn't move your body, definitely go do that today, and know that you are worthy and deserving of your dreams. It's not too late. You're not too old. Your dreams are your destiny. They're meant for you. So own them fiercely and claim them boldly. All my love, guys. I'll see you next time.